Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. So let's get started with the JCL interview questions and answers. This is the part 2. Part 1 link is given in this video. Let's go ahead. First question is, see, I have an uncatalogued data set to refer in my job step. I know on which device, that is DASD or SysDA, the dataset is stored, but I don't know the volume number on that device. But we have information that one of the dataset used in that job resides in the same volume. How can I access the uncatalogued dataset in this situation? Answer would be, you can use the backward reference technique to refer the right volume and device. Below is the example. Volume is equal to refer star.dd name. Here we are making use of the backward referencing to refer the same volume number that is used by another dataset in the defined DD name. Question 2. I need to code a sort step or procedure in my JCL to process the input datasets on a particular requirement. Every time my input dataset names will change, but the sort technique to be used on those datasets will remain same. How can I use that sort card for the different datasets without coding it multiple times? Answer would be, you can make use of symbolic parameters to handle different input files or parameter values as shown below. The highlighted DS name can be changed for each step, and we can pass different input files in different steps. Question 3. Sometimes I get a requirement to process only few selected steps out of n number of steps in my job based on some conditions. What are the ways to achieve this and which is the best way you suggest? Answer would be, we can achieve the conditional processing in many ways. One way is using condition code, which executes or bypasses the steps based on the written code of previous steps. Another way is to use if then else constructs. This executes or skips the code blocks or statements based on the condition specified on the if condition. Another way is to use IEBedit utility. This will help us to execute only selected or required steps from a job having many steps. But a separate JCL needs to be created to use this. And the best suit is always depends on the requirement we have. Fourth question. Is specifying a condition code on job statement and exec statement will work the same way? If no, what is the major difference? Answer would be, condition code behaves differently when coded on job and exec statements. When coded on job statement, the condition will be tested for all the steps except the first step of the job. But when coded on exec statement, the condition will be tested for only that step. Another difference is, when coded on job statement and if the condition is true for a step, the step will be bypassed with other steps following it also. But when coded on exec statement and if the condition is true for a step, only that step will be bypassed. Fifth question. I know condition is equal to only on a step makes it executes only when any of the previous steps in the job abends. But what happens if we code condition is equal to only parameter along with another condition code on the same step? Hope you know how many condition codes we can keep on a single step of the job. Answer would be, yeah, we can code maximum of 8 condition codes for a step. And when coded condition is equal to only along with other condition codes for a step, then the job step executes if none of the written code condition is true for the condition coded on the step, and if only any of the previous steps failed abnormally. That means both conditions should match. Sixth question is, I am creating a GDG dataset for my application. I need that to have 10 versions and all the previous versions should be available to refer them later. When I create the 11th version, only the least recent version needs to be uncatalogued and not deleted. Can you specify the GDG definition parameters for this requirement? Answer would be, we need to use below parameters while defining the GDG. Limit will be 10, that is number of active versions a GDG can have. No empty. This uncatalogs the least recent version or generation when exceeding the limit. No scratch. This does previous generations will not be deleted. If we use no scratch, previous generations will not be deleted and can be referred later by using unit and volume parameters. Seventh question, all the generations of a GDG should have same record length and other DCP parameters? If not, how do you define different DCP parameters for different generations that are associated with same GDG base? Answer would be, each GDG versions can have same or different DCP parameters according to requirements. An initial model can be used by all the versions to make use of same DCP parameters, but we can override that DCP parameters when needed to create the generations with a different record length or with other DCP parameters. Question 8. There is a need to use multiple generations of GDG file as the input to a step in my job. What are the ways we can do this? Answer would be, this can be done in two ways according to requirement. If all the generations to be passed as input, you can mention the GDG base itself as input instead of listing all the generations. If only selected generations are needed, you can code a single DD statement and concatenate the required generations in the input. Ninth question. Do you know what are the ways we can pass the input data to a program through JCL? And how do we receive the data in program passed in different modes from the JCL? Answer would be, we can pass the data through three different ways or methods. One way is to pass the data using PARM keyword, parameter keyword, on exec statement. Constraint is, we can pass maximum of 100 character length of data as input, and when passed using this mode, we need to code linkage section in the program to receive the data. In-stream data, we can pass the input as in-stream data and we need to use accept keyword in the program to receive the data. And another way is to use the files. We can pass the input through PS, VSAM and GDG files, and we need to define the file organization, code the file structure in the program to access and make use of the file data. Last question is, what are the ways to take the jobs pool or job log into a dataset? Which is the best way to do that? Answer would be, we can save the job log to a dataset by mentioning an existing dataset in sysout or sysprint statement. But entire job log cannot be captured in this method. For example, just message will not be captured. Another way is to specify message class Y, which saves the entire job log in JMR, that is job management and retrieval, and entire job log will be redirected to spool. Using command xdc against the job name in the SDSF screen, that is in the spool, and mention the dataset to which we want to copy the job log data. This is the mostly used and gives the entire job log data. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.